All right, guys, welcome to halftime. I'm up here at the press box at Jack Tri Stadium. Former Iowa State quarterback Bret Meyer is in the leisure of his own house. We'll see a couple pretty little girls running around in the background. Uh, I want to thank our sponsors, Karl Chevrolet, Ames, and Des Moines Eye Care, as always, and our friends at Nebraska Furniture Mart. Eye Care for the whole family. Check them out. Nebraska Furniture Mart for anything. I'm actually going to buy 2 TVs there this week, and Karl Chevrolet. All right, Brett. Um, we've done a lot of these before where I kind of start freaking out at halftime, and then you kind of walk me off the ledge. This one's closer than anybody wanted it to be. What's your take on the first half?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what we expected. I don't think we've ever had a game where, maybe my freshman year, I think we beat UNI like 27-0 or something like that. Like, since then, they're always close. It's a good team. Obviously, we'd like to come out and start faster. I think if we tackle better on defense, they probably obviously we've had a ton of missed tackles on their big plays,
Yeah.
and it's led to 10 points. So we can shore that up and better tackling on the perimeter. And we started the game great, right? I mean, two big sacks on third down on the first two possessions, and since then, and they've changed some things. They're not doing much drop back. It's a little bit quick pass game, and McAvoy's doing a good job of extending some plays.
Yeah, they had the one, I think it was like a 56 yarder or whatever it was. He extended that play, like you said, and the whole thing was kind of broken up at that point. The note that I had is offensively, what have you seen adjustment wise by Iowa State? Because it seemed like that second quarter, Tom Manning was really wanting to wear down the UNI defense. I mean, it looked like he's saying, all right, we're going to put our guys up against your guys and try and stop us. And it's a little bit boring, but I don't know. What did you see adjustment wise from the offense?
Yeah, I think they're just trying to play the long game, realizing that when come the fourth quarter, and we're going to be able to wear them down a little bit up front, and then hopefully be able to close the game out that way. Sometimes you come into these games and you want to be a little bit vanilla because you don't want to show everything, because obviously we have to get this game, that bigger fish to fry, if you will, the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. Matt Campbell has always been very patient in these games, and I don't think that'll change unless need be.
State gets the ball to start the third quarter, up 13-10 here at Jack Trice Stadium. What did you see defensively from Iowa State, Brett? Because it did seem like you noted even the first three possessions, really. I mean, the penetration, Iowa State was really dominating up front. Orion Vance was peeling off blockers. Will McDonald got a couple of sacks, got back there. And then that kind of slowed down as the half went along. Defensively, what's your read on that?
Yeah, I think you and I made adjustments. I will say this though: we had times where we would get stops, we just missed tackles, as
Yeah.
well. So, when they make adjustments and try to get some more quick passing game implemented into what they're doing, and they've been able to run the ball a little bit. They got guys that were Power 5 Division I players all over the country that are playing for Northern Iowa, so they have good players. That, as you saw there on the touchdown, if they make a miss, they can take it to the house. So, again, I think that if we can just tackle well on the perimeter and stop letting and all these plays get extended and obviously score that we've seen, we'll be fine. I don't think there's any reason to panic. We'd like to be better on offense, and I think we'll get some more play action as Brees kind of gets going here in the second half.
Yeah, Brees only had 2 carries in the first quarter, and they really let him go in the second quarter. 11 for 51 yards. That's an average of 4.6 yards per carry. All right, if you're Tom Manning, you felt them out now. What do you do the first drive of the second half? Is this one of those long, methodical ones? It kind of feels like that's what they're setting them up for. Even the passing game, Brett, Brock was 13 for 17, 105 yards, but most of that was off of the play action.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's important to get ahead of the chains, and then you'll be able to set that up so we're not having to do any third and medium, third and longs. But yeah, I think it's definitely is. I'm okay with not with Brees getting the amount of carries he did. I mean, we saw the running back from Minnesota the other night had 30 touches through three quarters, and he blows his Achilles out because he's gassed in the third quarter. I'm okay with Brees, not getting 40 carries this game, and maybe kind of working him into the season a little bit more.
Elsewhere, as we kind of look at the stats here, Xavier Hutchinson led the Cyclones with 6 receptions, 88 yards in the first half. And no Charlie Kohler. And you'd like to think that you could beat Northern Iowa without your starting tight end. That's a really big piece. And if you look at Iowa State's success at the passing game the last couple of years, the tight ends have been heavily involved. I don't see a single tight end with a catch today.
No, and that may be something that may mean adjustment. I mean, I don't understand. Every year it seems like Charlie or somebody's down. Do you know how he got hurt? It was just a freak
Practice.
thing,
It's kind of like about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's an ankle. I was told he was 80-20 going into today. It sounds like they made the decision on Thursday to play it safe and hold it on. That's what I know. So it does sound like he'll be back for next week. Sean Shaw, wide receiver, is out today. It does sound like his might be a little bit longer.
Okay. I mean, look, Chase is going to have to step up, and the middle of the field is a huge thing because it opens up so much more on the outside. And, Xavier Hutchinson's had a nice first half, and we got to continue to keep him implemented and get him going. But, run the ball and then get your tight ends involved. I think that'll open up more here in the second half.
One thing I saw here that you guys probably, hopefully some of you are watching from in the stadium, but I did pick up on defensively at least. Man, you got a lot of leaders. I mean, Mike Rose, there were a couple of those plays where I think Isheem Young may have been in the wrong spot or something. Mike got up in his grill. And, that's the deal, too, where the first game thing, it doesn't always go as planned. You mentioned Ohio State, Minnesota. It took Ohio State about 2.5 quarters to really get its feel going the other day. Defensively, we've seen all these guys play. We've seen first games where they don't tackle well before, but I don't know. I kind of feel like that gets shored up a little bit in the second half here. And these guys there's a lot of freshmen out there.
No, I would agree. I think it's one of those things where you get in halftime and everybody kind of says their piece and they come out and dominate. I mean, UNI's got 10 points. They really have hit 2 plays on us. If you think about it. So, shore it up and make sure we're in the right spot and maybe apply some pressure. I mean, this kid's not the greatest drop back passer. He hasn't worked the middle of the field at all. I'm pretty confident that as long as we shore that up, like you said, with leaders like Mike Rose and the rest of the guys we have on this defense, will be okay.
Just for those who don't have the luxury of being here today, and Brett, you're one of them. It really a surreal type of scene before the game. There's just a lot going on coming off of this pandemic. Obviously, we're still in it. I don't want to lighten that fact, but walking through the lots on my way to the press conference to see everybody in the lots, it was. Brett, there's been big Cy-Hawk games. You've played in a lot of big 12 games with a lot on the line. I've never seen an atmosphere like I have today, though. It was incredible. I had goosebumps just walking through the tailgate lots about 5 hours before the game on my way up here to the press box. So has that popped through on TV? How's the crowd look on TV?
Yeah, I think with it being an ESPN Plus, you don't really get all of it. It looks fine. I don't think it's it's not a full broadcast, so I'd say probably not.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I've heard that from literally everybody that's been there that it was just unbelievable. And, obviously next week expect it to be that times 10. So Cyclone Nation showed out as usual, and I wish I was able to be there today.
Yeah, Brett, to look towards the last 2 quarters of play here, if Iowa State's going to pull this one off against a gritty Northern Iowa team, give me a couple of keys to victory. Is it just stay the course? It kind of feels like the vibe. You're giving off a real quarterback vibe here today, just to stay the course type deal. Is that it? No turnovers, no dumb plays.
Yeah, no one. Coach Campbell's been here long enough to kind of know his MO. Whether it was, the Drake game a few years ago, where it's like, when are we going to turn it on? And we just kind of methodically. That was obviously a monsoon, and even UNI a couple of years ago, just stay the course and let your veteran leadership take over and pop a couple of big plays here and there, and hopefully it can be a 28-31, whatever to 10 victory where we can kind of just close them out here, midway through the fourth quarter.
You and I are both too, and I know this isn't always a popular opinion, but the field is not in the best condition for a season opener that I've seen, and I don't know why. Yeah. I don't know if it's weather. I know there's a new guy. But that was noticeable to me, Brett, even just walking the field about 5 days ago. And that's a little bit of a concern when you look forward to, I don't know, it's not terrible. I don't want to completely kill it, but, man, I expected a little bit more from the season opener.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know those guys work extremely hard, that whole crew. But
Yes.
I personally am a field turf guy. I mean, the technology and the field turf is there to where, you're not seeing as many injuries, and it's pretty basically the same as grass. And, we had financially the money to build a $90 million facility. We can, find $1 million somewhere. I know that sounds, it sounds terrible to say that, but, field turf, get it done. I mean, I understand the grass field's great, but it's 2021, and what percentage of
That's
teams
right,
are
man.
playing on grass? If you don't have Bermuda, you shouldn't have grass, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, and that's special to a lot of people too. So I want to be sensitive.
it's
A lot of
grass.
people,
It's a
yeah.
playing surface.
You know
Come
how it
on.
is, though, man. You
I
walk
know,
through
but it's
that.
like
A lot of
I know
people are really sensitive about
we're
that.
not
But I
talking
get
about
tired of
renaming the stadium. We're talking
I
about
get tired of watching our
playing
guys
surface.
trip over the 40-yard line. You know,
It
like
doesn't
it
look good. It
happens
looks like it's
all the
about
time.
knee high. It's a slow surface. Just find a good field turf and let's get it done. I've heard rumors that our head coach might be agreeing with us as well. So
I think the head coach was agreeing about that like 3 years ago, from what I know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's still
that-
here. So, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, a field like this is great when you're playing Oklahoma.
I mean,
You
even
know,
then, I'm not worried about. We got guys that can run too. It's just more
All right.
so just the appearance, and I don't know. I don't think it plays very well, especially when it gets a little wet.
All right. Well, let's hopefully more joyful post-game show with Jared Stansbury and Rob Gray. Here's what they'll do, guys. It's the same as last year. Those guys will go to Coach Campbell's press conference, and then they'll come back and they'll fire it up on all these different things and give you injury reports and, reports on what Matt Campbell had to say. So, Brett, thanks, man. Enjoy the second half. Give those little girls a hug for me, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right,
Meyer to
Chris, good
Blythe,
talking to you.
Wednesday nights. Check them out on the Cyclone Fanatic podcast. All right, thanks to all of our sponsors, Karl Chevrolet, Moines Eye Care, Ames Eye Care, and Nebraska Furniture Mart. Iowa State leads Northern Iowa 13-10. We'll have post game about an hour after the game here on our little streaming network. For Bret Meyer, I'm Chris Williams. Thanks to Matt Van Winkle for producing today's program as always, and we'll be back after the game. Later.